Hello, fight fans. Welcome to another edition of Split Decision Boxing. Um, I want to talk tonight. We're a couple of nights away. It's Thursday night now. And on Saturday night, we've got a fight coming up for the, not undisputed, but certainly unified between four belts for the heavyweight championship of the world. So that's got to get your taste buds going. You know, whatever your views and thoughts on boxing, whenever there's a bona fide bout coming up between two bona fide boxers, fighters, none of your KSI, Logan Paul rubbish. This is a real fight between two real accredited fighters, and it's between Britain's own Daniel Dubois and the Ukrainian's own Olexander Usyk, who is the defender and holder of the belts. And I'm going to try and give you my little overview, I guess, what I think is going to happen. On Saturday night, there's a lot of speculation about this fight because you've got the seasoned fighter in Usyk. Is he only a seasoned fighter? He is the real deal. He is the most complete fighter. Certainly, when he was a cruiserweight, probably the best cruiserweight that we've seen this century, I would say. His resume is second to none when you look at, certainly when he went up to heavyweight, his CV, who he's fought and beat, is incredible. He's beat Tony Bellew, he's beat Anthony Joshua twice, he's beat Derek Chisora. You know, this guy will get in the ring and fight anybody. Not a natural heavyweight, but he matches them pound for pound. Not so much with power, and that's to be expected, but certainly boxing skill, boxing ability, his boxing brain, his knowledge of the sport is unparalleled, absolutely unparalleled. And then we've got Daniel Dubois, who's fought the same amount of fights as Usyk, as a professional. So Usyk is 20-0, 20 fights, 20 straight wins, whereas Daniel Dubois is 19-1, one loss on his career. And that one loss came against another Brit, who I'm sure you'll know, Joe Joyce. I have to say, when you look at their record cards, everything in your heart, everything in your head tells you this is Olexander Usyk's fight all night long, right? When you look at the caliber of fighters that they've fought, Dubois really hasn't fought, in my opinion, anybody of any massive standing, apart from Joe Joyce, and Joe Joyce dealt with him. Not only that, it's being fought in Poland, so almost on Usyk's in his backyard. He's going to have huge support out there, particularly with what's going on in the world with between Ukraine and Russia, and most of the Western world, if not all of the Western world, support Ukraine in their fight against the tyranny of the Russian invasion of their country. But that aside, Usyk is going to be a massive favourite for this fight. It's in his backyard. He's going to have all the support. His CV is 100 times better than Daniel Dubois. So what has Daniel Dubois got that can win him this fight on Saturday night? Well, I'll tell you what he's got. There's two things in his favour. First of all, undoubtedly, he's got the power. He's a huge man, similar sort of frame to AJ. Arguably more power than AJ. Maybe that day will come when the two of them meet. That would be interesting. But he's got a Superman physique. He's got a huge knockout punch. He is a boxer. He uses his jab well, moves around the ring well, and he can deliver a big knockout punch. Usyk, on the other hand, hasn't got a huge knockout punch, but he will wear you down and he'll knock you out or stop you just with the sheer volume and ferocity and the angles that he will come at you will wear you down. He will beat you up as opposed to knock you out. And eventually he will beat you up to the point where you have to stop because you can't take any more of the punishment, the relentless punishment. They are saying that if Dubois wins on Saturday night, it will be the biggest shock. I heard somebody say today, I think it was Tony Bellew actually, I heard him on the radio today. He was saying if he beats Usyk on Saturday night, it will be the biggest upset in boxing, in heavyweight boxing, probably since Buster Douglas beat Mike Tyson all those years ago. I don't think it will be that bigger upset, but it would be an upset purely because we know how good Usyk is. We don't know yet how good Dubois is, because I don't believe that at this point in his career, up until Saturday, that he has fulfilled his full potential. I've been a big fan of Dubois since the day he turned professional. And I was given the nod from a friend of mine. Before I'd even heard of Dubois, I had a friend who knew Dubois sort of third hand. He knew people that knew Dubois. And because of that, he had been given the nod and the tip and saying, watch out for this guy. He's just turning pro. He's going to be something special. And he mentioned it to me. And because of that, I sort of started having a look at him and thinking, my God, yeah, this guy does look bloody good. He comes from Southeast London, which is like my neck of the woods. So I've got a vested interest and I really want to see him do well. But let's get to the crunch. Is he going to do well? How do I think this fight's going to go on Saturday night? And I'm going to give you my prediction. My prediction is this. I think he's going to come out on Saturday night looking very nervous, number one. Dubois is not, he's not a Tyson Fury in terms of his personality. He's not a Derek Chisora. He's not a Dillian White. He's not a Prince Nassim. He's not a brash, confident. If you've seen the press conferences, very humble, quietly spoken, man of few words. It's quite well known now within the boxing circle. He doesn't like the limelight. He doesn't like being in front of the cameras, doing interviews and press conferences. It's just not his thing. He likes to do his work inside the ring. So I think he's going to be a little bit overawed, overwhelmed on Saturday night by the event. I'm hoping upon hope that it doesn't completely overwhelm him, like Frank Bruno was overwhelmed when he fought Mike Tyson. The sheer thought, you could see it in Frank Bruno's eyes and face when he did his ring walk before he stepped foot through the ropes. You knew he was beat. The whole situation, the magnitude of the event um, and the fear factor of what is facing you in that ring got to Frank Bruno, and I'm pretty certain he would admit that now. You know, if you spoke to him about that, and I'm just hoping that that same situation doesn't happen to Daniel Dubois. If he can calm his nerves, if he can remain with the self-control and with the confidence that in your heart of heart, you know you've got the ammunition and the power in your toolbox to deal with Olexander Usyk, then I think we have a good fight on our hands. And I think if we can get over the first 2 rounds, I think for the first 2 rounds, Usyk is going to come out. He's going to be very, very fast. He's going to be hitting Dubois with that, punches from angles, lots and lots of movement around. And I think Dubois is going to have trouble landing for the first couple of rounds. And I don't want him to start trying to throw bombs in those first couple of rounds. I think the tactic that I would advise, and I'm probably wrong, what do I know? But my advice would be to Dubois to move around, try not to get hit, to use your weight, and if Usyk comes in close, tie him up, lean on him, lay on him slightly, try and sap some of that energy out of him. And if you can get past those 2 round, the 2 round, they're usually the first 2 rounds, in these big events are always ferocious. And then it usually starts to calm down when people find their rhythm, find their pace, start to find their range. And that's the important thing. If Dubois can find his range round about round 2, 3, and start to use his jab, it is a pillion of a jab, mate. Let me tell you, it's a good, strong jab. If he can find his jab and start picking Usyk off without getting hit himself, I think he can do that for 4, 5 rounds, 6 rounds, maybe more. Just keep using that jab, working through his guard, onto his chin, onto his temple, onto his nose, onto his cheek, even occasionally go downstairs. And it's going to be hard because he's such a big guy and Usyk's quite small, so it's going to be difficult to get to the body, I would think. So in my opinion, your key in this fight, Dubois' key, shall I say, in this fight is going to be his jab. And if he can maintain that without suffering too much himself, I think you'll see, as the fight wears on, Usyk will become less and less effective. And I do believe, this is my prediction, round about round 6 or 7, maybe 8, I believe Dubois will hit Usyk with a power shot that will rock Usyk to his feet. And he won't know what's hit him. He will never have felt this kind of power before. Now, the clever fighter will win this fight, by the way. And the clever fighter, if it's Dubois, will be the using the jab to wear him down, to soften him up. And then in the later stages, if you're not too tired and you've not been hit too much yourself, to start throwing the big guns unexpectedly when you've been using the jab so much, and he thinks that's all you're going to do is try and jab his head off. And then suddenly, later on in the fight, 6, 7 rounds, start throwing the big shots. Not all the time. Conserve your energy. Throw 1 or 2, go back to the jab, soften up a bit more, and then maybe, a minute or 2 later, throw it again. And eventually one will get through. And it's how Usyk reacts when he gets hurt by a power shot that he's not experienced before will be the telling point of this fight. And I believe that if he does all of that, I'm predicting that Dubois will stop Usyk, a retirement or KO in round 8 or round 9. That's my prediction for the fight, folks. You heard it here first. comes 24th of August in Poland. There's going to be a new English 4-belt heavyweight champion of the world. And that is going to open up a whole new era of British heavyweight boxing, because then his world is his oyster. He has the choice then. He can call the shots. Will it be Fury? Will it be Wilder? Will it be AJ? Good luck, Daniel. I really, really hope you get this win. I'm right behind you. I think you're going to win by KO or stoppage in round 8 or round 9. You heard it here first, folks. I hope you've enjoyed this video. If you have, give it the thumbs up. Please subscribe, share it, talk about it, comment in the comments box below, and please, please subscribe. Thanks very much.